You know what's interesting? When I start drawing these videos for you, I instantly lose a little bit of spontaneity. Even though this might appear that my drawings are very loose and fun, I'm always thinking about right-brained things. For instance, the right side of the brain deals with things like creativity, feelings, generally loose and playful, the right side of the brain. The left side of the brain deals with things like logic, numbers, math, calculations, analysis. So here you got your brain, here you've got your human. And while I'm doing this, I'm being on my right side of my brain, I'm drawing, I'm being loose. But on my left side, I'm having to keep track of the space that I'm drawing in. I have to keep track of where is things. Can you see what I'm drawing? Or am I losing what you can see in the frame? So I have to switch back and forth from more creative, loose right brain to left brain. For instance, something else, I even have a issue when I'm doing these loose drawings for you around, I like the way this looks better. From corner to corner, you can see everything that I'm drawing just as long as I stay, once again, in the left brain, just as long as I stay within the boundaries of the cartoon. But what I prefer is a bigger drawing space, which means I have to zoom back once on my iPhone, like this. Now I can draw to a much higher, I can draw fully in what's in front of me on this big iPad Pro. I can draw all the way to my corners, but the moment that I go to zoom in, which gives you a better experience of not having these edges full of junk and garbage, or even if it was just black over here, you get this experience of seeing a full screen. But I have the experience of having to always think about and calibrate the drawing for your experience. So for instance, this looks great for you, the fact that I can now draw this for you and you could see the full drawing and everything's going great. But look at what I experience at home. I'm drawing on a space the size of like a big iPhone. If I were to make it this big, I now can physically move my hand in a bigger area. But since I have to shrink it down and then zoom in to give you the experience of watching me draw on a big wide screen, I wind up having to draw small like this. Here's one last way to explain it. When I'm drawing for you widescreen, so you have a good experience from corner to corner, I have to draw in a space this big. I prefer to go bigger and draw in a space this big, but I would prefer to draw this big, where there's complete spontaneity. That's where the spontaneity gets lost. See what I mean? Here I can move my hand nice and big. I don't have to worry about these edges here because I'm drawing gigantic. But if I do draw with these edges and I do draw it on the iPad in this smaller area, I can do it. See, here I am. I'm just drawing a guy here, and I can draw on the iPad size with the dead space on the left and on the right. But if I zoom in so that you then have a wide experience without the dead space on the left and right, I can even draw on this space as well. It's perfectly doable, but it does take away from some of the spontaneity. I have to draw smaller and I have to keep within this smaller box. But in the end, I enjoy doing it. I like bringing you these drawings, and I think I'll get back to that now, because what I can do now is I can just set it up so that I don't have the edges, and I can just have it now go to a widescreen mode, and I just sit down and draw how I feel. If I'm having a sad day, this just comes out. The hat is droopy. The arms are lame and wimpy. I can make this, now this is where I have to shift over to the left brain, the logic side, to keep this in frame for you. But if I'm a little sad, then everything comes out a little droopy. Our guy is a little sad. But as I always talk about, I'm always thinking about the gesture, the overall feeling. Now here I've made a sad guy, and I would usually do a sad guy with the same line, but I would have him be droopy in this direction. And again, this is more left brain. If I were really planning this, I would plan out sad guy, droopy line, and everything follows that. Little tiny arms usually help to show depression. If he's powerful, he's got a big arm, right? If he's a powerful guy, he's big and strong, but he's not. He's depressed and he's sad. So he has no hand, he has no power, and he has no muscle tone. And so this is usually how I would draw a sad guy on the same line of action. But this is a better drawing to me because this came right out of my hand, just pure emotion, where this one I was consciously going on a line of action and explaining, but this one was just pure playfulness. So that's the balance I'm always doing, like I said, between the right brain and the left brain. And something else I'm thinking about in right brain is where to put these layers, right? And where to hide things and where to section things off on the screen, because later I like to turn these into YouTube shorts. So I want to have one section of drawing happening here, one section happening here, which I'll do in a moment, and one section happening here. So while I'm trying to be loose and playful and drawing and having fun, I'm also having to think about, wait, am I in the right area of the screen? Will I be able to turn this later, a few days from now, into a new short promoting this 10-minute, roughly, video on a separate layer, virtually identical to the others? I can hide those first two because I chose to, with my left brain, hide them. Now I'm just left with this line of action, who's going to be happy with the same shaped line. I'm going to use that arc to make a happy guy. Now I'm going to be a little bit in my left brain because I'm drawing and I'm trying to keep to this line and I'm trying to keep within the constraints of the top and the bottom of the screen. But I try to go over to my right side of my brain. Sometimes if I'm just hiding the other two characters, I can feel more loose in my drawing style. I can now really break out and have fun and really have fun. This reminds me of, what's his name on SpongeBob? Does he have an antenna on top? But that looseness is what I'm always wanting to achieve. And whenever I put a camera on myself, I lose a little bit of it. So I'm just gonna have fun with it. Now I can always shrink his head down. He's on a separate layer than the line of action. So I can always shrink his head down to this area up here and then continue with the body. But this happy usage of this line means that everything will follow it, and he can have his arms on his hips and he can be proud and looking up. He can be happily running. Now again, I'm going to kind of go off the page here, so I'll just shrink him down a bit. Since I've got this line of action, it helps me to really keep things on this sort of up and out kind of a beat as opposed to down or sad like this, right? So I can put the buttocks here, but I could still have this be a very upbeat drawing. The line, or just thinking about the line, really helps me to keep things moving and happy and upbeat. Doodieman! And here we have it, living color. I added color to all three characters. I made this one a woman, actually. Why not, right? Kind of feminine. And color always helps. There's a bit of a story here. Doodieman, playful. A life lesson. Always look on the bright side of life. Stay loose, stay free. Stay on the right brain. Stay on the creative side. Don't be constrained. Have fun. Thanks for being a fan. And click the bell, ring the thing, click the other thing, get the notifications, and write something in the comments. I love hearing from you. I really do. It's great to hear from you when you write comments and ask questions. Talk to you soon.